Dear friends, welcome to another episode of The Informant. In today's video, we'll be talking about a surprising investigation by the United States that uncovered an alleged Russian disinformation campaign. According to the findings, Russia, through its state-controlled media outlets, spent millions of dollars paying Western influencers to spread Russian propaganda and false narratives around the world. But before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. On Wednesday, September 4th, a major scandal came to light involving allegations that the Russian government was funding Western influencers. According to accusations from the U.S. Department of Justice and sources confirmed by CNN, the Tennessee-based Tenet Media reportedly received $10 million to finance prominent influencers in the United States. The purpose? To promote Russian propaganda and disinformation, not just within the US, but worldwide. The money, reportedly funneled through RT, a massive Russian state media outlet, aimed to push Russian narratives on various global issues, including the invasion of Ukraine and, more recently, US presidential elections. Founded in 2005 by Vladimir Putin, RT was established to polish Russia's image abroad. Its programming focuses heavily on international affairs, targeting audiences in France, the UK, Germany, and of course, the United States. RT is led by Margarita Simonyan, a key figure in the Kremlin's propaganda machine, who has played an instrumental role in expanding RT's influence throughout Europe and North America, bringing Russia's narratives to millions around the world. RT's efforts become especially aggressive during times of crisis. In 2014, for instance, during the Ukrainian uprisings that led to the ousting of the pro-Russian president, Viktor Yanukovych, RT worked overtime to justify Russia's invasion of Crimea. At the same time, Moscow orchestrated a separatist war in the Donbass region. RT was broadcasting around the clock, spinning Russian narratives to cover up and rationalize these actions. Throughout the conflict in Donbass, RT continued its role, beaming disinformation to Europe, North America, and beyond, with the goal of muddling global perceptions of Russia's aggressive actions. But RT didn't stop at merely broadcasting its state-sanctioned propaganda. The organization actively engaged foreign correspondents and, more importantly, influencers and journalists who had no official ties to RT. This allowed Russian narratives to be disseminated as if they were local perspectives, shaped by popular figures with significant reach in their respective countries. The logic is simple. People are far more likely to believe a story when it's delivered by a trusted local voice, rather than an unfamiliar foreign entity. This disinformation strategy intensified even further, with Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. This brutal conflict isn't just being fought on the battlefield, it's also being waged in the realm of information, where Russia and the West are locked in a bitter struggle. The Kremlin has been selling this war of invasion and territorial expansion as justified, using absurd arguments, ranging from claims of fighting Nazis to bizarre theories about laboratory-created mosquitoes designed to infect only those with Russian passports. When Russian propaganda outlets began getting banned in the West, the Kremlin adapted, ramping up its efforts to spread its messaging through local sources. Led by RT, these efforts included direct and indirect payments to Western journalists and influencers. A notable example is Tenet Media, which allegedly received around $10 million from Russia to bankroll US influencers to push Russian propaganda as if it were authentic grassroots opinion. Among the influencers allegedly involved are well-known figures from the American right-wing sphere, such as Tim Pool. In his videos, Pool has harshly criticized US support for Ukraine's defense, even going as far as labeling Ukraine the greatest threat to world peace. He argues that Washington should stop sending weapons and, astonishingly, issue an apology to Vladimir Putin. Another instance of Russian propaganda spread by Tenet-linked influencers happened earlier this year in March, following an attack on Moscow's Kroko City Hall. Before any official investigations had been completed, these influencers began echoing Russian propaganda, falsely claiming that Ukrainian forces were responsible for the attack. Even after the perpetrators were apprehended and identified as ISIS operatives, many continued pushing the narrative that Ukrainians, or at least Arab fighters paid by Ukraine, were behind the attack. Tim Pool and others implicated in the scandal claim they were unaware that Tenet was involved in Russian propaganda schemes, despite receiving substantial payments from the company. Pool alone reportedly earned thousands of dollars per month. This scandal, however, is seen as just the tip of the iceberg. Multiple sources suggest that since the start of the Ukraine invasion, the Kremlin has funneled nearly $1 billion into funding Western influencers. If you value independent journalism and want to support our work, consider buying us a coffee through the QR code on the screen. Your contribution is essential for us to continue bringing quality analysis and information. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest analyses and insights on the world's most urgent geopolitical issues.
Know it. But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war. Now, don't get me wrong, I know. You've got criminal elements of the U.S. government pushing them and guiding them and telling them what to do. Ukraine is now accused, a German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the greatest threat to this nation and to the world. We should rescind all funding and financing, pull out all military support, and we should apologize to Russia.